So I don't go to church. The popular question when it comes to Christianity in our society is, where do you go to church? When I was on staff in the organized church, I and other leaders were challenged with how we wanted people to answer that question. Our focus was on defining what was going to set us apart regarding their church experience. Here's the problem. That just doesn't compute when compared to how the church started in the beginning. The first time Jesus ever talked about building his church, he asked a completely different question. Who do you say I am? In fact, he first asked his disciples, who do people say I am? Then he addressed them more directly, who do you say I am? Back then, in a culture with a plethora of spiritual beliefs and practices, and yes, I really just wanted to use the word plethora. I really want to ask if you have a plethora of piñatas, but I digress. Bonus points, though, for whoever gets that reference. Okay, back on topic. In a culture with a plethora of beliefs and religious practices, just like our society today, the main question in that ancient culture, that ancient world, was not about their group, but their God. We are so removed from that conversation that it sounds weird to us to ask, who is Jesus to you? However, it would have sounded weird to them to ask, where do you go to church? They did not see the church as a location. Jesus made it clear that his identity was the most important feature establishing the church. In fact, when Jesus talked about the church, it did not resemble the popular notion of church that we have today. Felicity Dale explains the New Testament description of church very well. The Greek word for church, Ekklesia, is composed of two words, ek, meaning out of, and kaleo, meaning I call. The full and simple meaning of church, according to the original word, is I call out from. When Jesus said, I will build my church, he was saying, I will call my people out of the world, and they will assemble in my name. That comes from a 2003 publication called Getting Started by Felicity Dale. Simply, the church is the called out community of faith. Another solid description is empowered people on mission, or followers of Jesus in action. There is an identity piece and there is a practice piece. Both elements come together to define the church, and when done right, they always merge to honor the one who builds the church. It is beautiful because it exalts Jesus, not us. To be more precise, Dale's description of the meaning of church could be amended to note that ekklesia does not even translate well into church. The ekklesia was an assembly or congregation, a group of people who would be called out or gathered for a purpose. The word church in our English translations and its association with an event or building is problematic. Now, if you're tracking with what I'm saying, it is possible you will face some accusations about your faith from others. Many see a departure from the institutional church structure, as we have set it up in our modern context, as a departure from faith in Christ itself. They equate allegiance to the organized church with allegiance to Jesus. With that in mind, let me make an important clarification. Just because I critique a definition or understanding of the church does not mean that I don't like or care about the church. The truth is, the church is actually very dear to me. I have friends and family that I meet with regularly whom I consider the church. My main distinction is that church is more about who we are than where we are. The church, as the called out community of faith, is hugely important. Empowered people on mission make the world a better place. Followers of Jesus in action bless those around them. The church is essential, but just not the way that we've built it. But it is always necessary in the form that Jesus originally designed. Now, a quick note for those of you who are watching this as part of the course that you're going through. Next, you will go to the 4 core practices in each module of the MAGNIFY the Power course. Pray, go, baptize, teach. These are quick activities embedded in the course, and you will still continue with the content of this lesson. Reach out to me at info@ctyt.net with any questions or feedback. Now, if you're watching on our YouTube channel, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe.